Hey Steelers fans, welcome back. Today we need to dive straight into some of the latest news surrounding the team. And believe me, there's a lot to unpack. Now, before anyone gets too heated, I want to make one thing perfectly clear. This isn't about sensationalizing or overblowing events. It's about understanding what's happening on and off the field and putting it into perspective for all of us who care about the Steelers. Let's start with something that's been generating a lot of chatter. The suspension of DK Metcalf. Yes, 2 games. Yes, it happened after that moment in Detroit with the fan during the second quarter. And yes, it's controversial. I'll be honest, I didn't want to get into this at first because I didn't expect it to go anywhere, but it's hard to ignore, especially given the way it has dominated conversations everywhere. Now, let me be perfectly clear. I'm not here to break down every tiny detail of the incident or debate endlessly over what the fan allegedly said or did. I'm not going to analyze the video frame by frame like some sort of historical document. That fan, his comments, his lawyer's posts immediately after the game. None of that is what truly matters here. What matters is perspective. And from where I was sitting in Detroit, in the press box, covering a game that was absolutely electric from start to finish, it didn't feel like this incident should have been the focus. The energy, the stakes, the way the game unfolded. Those were the real storylines, not this sidebar distraction. But somehow, that tiny, insignificant moment managed to overshadow a football game that should have had everyone's attention from start to finish. Let's break this down. Metcalf went over to the fan. There was a quick interaction, maybe a tug or a swipe, and that was it. No serious injuries. No lasting confrontation, just a flash in a moment that exploded into a headline for every sports outlet chasing clicks. And here's the thing. In the grand scheme of things, this event was completely negligible. Compared to everything else that happened in Ford Field that day, it was a nothing burger. Yet somehow, it became the focus of social media debates, sports talk shows, and fan outrage. Why? Why do we magnify something so small into something massive? I'll tell you why. It's human nature, and it's amplified by the media ecosystem we've created. When a network or website declares something important, people automatically give it weight, regardless of its actual relevance to the game itself. And yes, I get it. Fans want to react, they want to voice their opinions, and sometimes that's fine. But when the Steelers were playing a game with first-place implications, with playoff stakes in the balance, and a team effort that should have been celebrated, we all got distracted by an altercation that should have barely registered on anyone's radar. Nobody on the team, nobody actually involved in the season standings, and certainly no one with real stakes in that game was meaningfully affected. It's baffling, but it's a perfect example of how narrative can take on a life of its own. And let's be real, it's not just Metcalf. This happens constantly in sports culture. Every draft, every controversial pick, every minor incident gets blown out of proportion because we've been trained to think that if it's on TV or trending online, it's critical. It's the ESPNification of everything, the relentless clickbait that dictates the conversation instead of the actual football itself. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not defending Metcalf's behavior or suggesting it was okay for him to engage. Of course it wasn't. The team could and should have managed the situation better. And the coaching staff has a responsibility to set boundaries and prevent incidents like this from happening. But separating that from the game itself is key. We have to remember that this was a momentary lapse, a misstep, and not a reflection of the Steelers' season or the quality of football being played. The energy in the stadium, the way players executed under pressure, the resilience shown in key plays, those are the things that define a season, not one fleeting confrontation in the stands. Shifting gears, let's talk about something more constructive and far more important for Steelers fans: the rise of Dylan Cook. Over the past couple of weeks, he has stepped into the spotlight in a way that commands attention without drama or distraction. From the locker room discussions I've had with the offensive line to watching him integrate with the team on the field, it's clear that he's earning respect through performance. He isn't here because of hype or media frenzy. He's here because he's delivering when it matters. And that's critical. In professional sports, talent alone isn't enough. You need timing, opportunity, and the ability to perform under pressure. Cook has demonstrated that he can step into a role and support the team's momentum without letting ego or external noise interfere. Watching the game in Detroit, the way Cook interacted with teammates like Jaylen Warren and Spencer Anderson was revealing. These are players who know the stakes, who understand the pressures of the NFL, and yet they welcomed him seamlessly. They celebrated together, laughed together, and most importantly, they trusted his presence to contribute positively. That cohesion is the kind of intangible quality that can elevate a team from good to great. It's one thing to have talent on paper. It's another to have a player who fits into the culture and lifts everyone around him. And Cook is doing exactly that. The chemistry, the energy, and the sense of unity are palpable. It's also worth noting how this connects to broader team strategy. When a player like TJ Watt returns, or when other starters rotate back into the lineup, these dynamics are tested. Who steps up? Who supports? Who adapts without friction? Observing Cook and his interactions gives a glimpse into how the Steelers manage these transitions, balancing individual talent with team performance. Every decision on the field, from snap to touchdown, has ripple effects. Every sideline celebration, every quick adjustment, every verbal cue matters in shaping outcomes. And this is why focusing on minor controversies can mislead fans about what truly matters. The growth of a player like Cook, the adjustments of the offensive line, the execution in critical moments, these are the real indicators of a season's trajectory. And here's another angle that often goes unnoticed. How the team handles pressure off the field speaks volumes about leadership and culture. Metcalf's suspension and the surrounding media storm could have been a distraction, but the Steelers demonstrated resilience by keeping focus on execution and preparation. That discipline, that ability to compartmentalize drama, is a hallmark of professional organizations. Players like Cook benefit directly from this environment because it allows them to integrate fully without being overshadowed by unrelated noise. When you watch how the offense adapts mid-game, how veterans mentor younger players, and how sideline communication flows seamlessly, you're seeing a blueprint for sustainable success. From a broader perspective, watching the locker room dynamics and sideline celebrations gives fans insight into the human side of football. These aren't just athletes performing in isolation. They're teammates navigating pressure, supporting one another, and building momentum together. When a player like Cook is welcomed and celebrated authentically, it reflects the depth of the team's culture and the effectiveness of leadership in fostering cohesion. Moments like Jaylen Warren's touchdown celebrations or coordinated reactions from multiple players aren't just for show. They reinforce bonds, encourage performance, and boost morale, all of which have tangible impacts on the field. And this is why separating the signal from the noise matters. Metcalf's incident, while headline-grabbing, is a distraction. It doesn't change the fundamentals of what the Steelers are accomplishing on the field. Watching the actual football, observing the strategies, appreciating the player growth and team cohesion. This is where the story is. Focusing on these elements gives fans a true sense of the Steelers' progress, challenges, and potential for the remainder of the season. Picking up where we left off, let's continue digging into the real football storylines that actually matter for the Steelers this season. One of the most fascinating aspects has been how Dylan Cook has managed to earn trust from his teammates and coaching staff in such a short span of time. Watching him integrate into the lineup is like watching a puzzle piece slide perfectly into place, and that's not just about his raw talent. It's about his mentality, his focus, and his ability to stay composed under pressure. You can see it in the locker room, you can see it in the way he communicates on the field, and you can see it in the subtle but meaningful interactions with players who have been around longer, like Spencer Anderson and Mason McCormick. These interactions aren't flashy, they're not designed to make headlines, but they're fundamental to building a cohesive unit that can handle the rigors of an NFL season. During the game in Detroit, the offensive line faced a series of challenges, and the way Cook fit into that structure was remarkable. The line had to adjust mid-game, cover gaps, and respond to the aggressive defensive front from the Lions. In moments like these, the pressure is immense and every snap counts. Watching the team respond collectively, with Cook stepping in and executing plays without hesitation, shows a level of maturity and readiness that goes beyond his experience. It's a testament to how preparation, film study, and mental resilience can translate into performance when it matters most. The way he communicates with his fellow linemen, the quick adjustments, and his presence in high-pressure situations demonstrates why he's become an integral part of the rotation. And it's not just about individual performance. It's about how the team reacts as a whole. Take, for instance, the celebration dynamics on the sidelines after key plays. The synchronized responses, the laughter, the energy shared among the players. These moments, seemingly trivial, are indicators of trust and camaraderie. When a rookie can walk into that environment and be accepted as part of the team's rhythm, it speaks volumes about both the player's character and the culture cultivated by the coaching staff. This environment fosters growth, reduces pressure, and allows players like Cook to perform without the distraction of feeling like an outsider. Meanwhile, looking at the offense more broadly, the Steelers' ability to execute under pressure has been on full display. Even with missing pieces in the lineup, the adjustments have been effective. The coaching staff has shown flexibility, recognizing when to rotate players, when to rely on emerging talent, and when to stick with proven starters. This balancing act is critical, especially as the season progresses and playoff positioning becomes increasingly important. For instance, the anticipation of T.J. Watt's return creates a scenario where younger players may have to step aside temporarily, but the system ensures that continuity and performance remain intact. It's a fine balance of maintaining team cohesion while integrating key players back into the lineup, and it's something the Steelers have handled thoughtfully so far. Performance under pressure also extends to situational football, and that's where players like Cook shine. Whether it's responding to blitzes, adjusting to defensive shifts, or maintaining composure in critical third-down scenarios, these moments are where a player's true capabilities are revealed. Observing him in these situations, it's clear that he's not just reacting. He's anticipating, communicating, and positioning himself to contribute meaningfully. That level of football intelligence doesn't appear overnight. It comes from rigorous preparation, natural instincts, and a commitment to understanding the game at a deeper level. Watching him perform consistently under these conditions gives fans a glimpse of his potential long-term impact on the team. The Steelers' strategy, in general, has benefited from this depth and adaptability. Even with disruptions off the field or media distractions swirling around incidents like Metcalf's suspension, the team's focus on execution has remained consistent. Leadership from veteran players, guidance from the coaching staff, and a culture of accountability ensure that external distractions do not derail on-field performance. It's a model for sustainable success because it emphasizes preparation, resilience, and collective effort over individual drama. Fans often get caught up in sensational headlines, but the real narrative is about growth, adaptation, and the small but meaningful improvements that compound over a season. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL rumor mill is buzzing tonight as sources suggest a dramatic twist in the league's latest offseason moves. Lazard, the talented wide receiver known for his reliable hands and ability to stretch the field, appears to have reached a deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. While the move seems sealed, insiders indicate the Baltimore Ravens were quietly maneuvering behind the scenes, attempting a last-minute swoop that could have upended the agreement. Lazard, who has developed a reputation as a dependable target in high-pressure situations, instantly becomes a valuable asset for the Steelers' offense. His presence could address lingering questions in Pittsburgh's passing game, offering quarterback a dynamic option both on intermediate routes and in the red zone. The Steelers' front office reportedly acted swiftly to finalize the deal, signaling their intent to strengthen their roster before rivals could intervene. However, sources close to the situation suggest that Baltimore was not ready to concede. The Ravens, known for their aggressive approach to roster construction, reportedly explored an 11th-hour attempt to lure Lazard away, potentially leveraging both financial and strategic incentives. While the Steelers seemed confident in their negotiations, The mere presence of Baltimore in the background added an element of suspense that has fans and analysts speculating about possible behind-the-scenes drama. This development highlights the ongoing chess match among NFL teams during free agency. Teams are constantly trying to anticipate each other's moves, and the Lazard situation serves as a reminder that deals can hang in the balance until the final signature. For the Steelers, securing Lazard could be a significant boost to an offense looking to make a statement, while for the Ravens, missing out might trigger a reassessment of their own wide receiver options. As the league continues to see rapid player movement and high-stakes negotiations, one thing is certain. Fans can expect more headlines, surprises, and last-minute swings before the roster picture finally settles. The Lazard saga may have reached a temporary conclusion in Pittsburgh, but the ripples of Baltimore's attempted intervention are likely to fuel discussion across the NFL for weeks to come. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.